Why do most sales managers seem caught in an operation quicksand that they cannot overcome? Why is the sales manager job is so hard? Why do 60% of new sales managers fail within their first 24 months in the new job? Do they fail because 1. They were never trained to manage their subordinates effectively. 2. They sabotage their own success by bogging down their teams with details that don't affect the bottom line. 2. Don't they understand the art, science, and psychology required to manage employees? 3. Do they crumble under the relentless pressure of the job? The average tenure of a sales manager or VP is 19 months. 47% of companies stated that it takes 10 or more months for a new salesperson to become fully productive, and only 58% of the aggregate sales force makes a quota. Research tells us that the number of sales managers and sales VPs that have been in the job for more than a decade and consistently making quota, at least 85% of the time, has decreased to 39%, and that's an actual disaster. To understand the sales manager's struggles, role, and how to become a top sales manager or VP of sales, I will use a military analogy that aligns with sales leadership. Watch the video until the end, as it contains precious information that will accelerate your job success and upward mobility. In the U.S. Army, the generals set their strategy and coalesce their troops behind the vision by giving specific orders that needs to followed and executed. However, it's the hundreds of platoon leaders who lead the charge during war and peacetime. The generals coordinate the war from a safe distance. They are the brains, not the hands, that do the job. These lieutenant leaders are the lowest ranking commissioned officers in the Army. They are often commanding 20 to 50 soldiers made up of 2 or more squads of soldiers. We all know the importance of the role of these platoon leaders in managing the troops. They turn average individuals into highly trained, skilled killing machines. Similarly, we know that the sales manager's job is the most critical position in the entire sales organization. The head of sales, often named Chief Revenue Officer, Chief Sales Officer, or Senior Vice President of Sales, act as the equivalent of an Army general. They determine the direction of the organization, the resources needed, the right strategy and logistics needed to achieve the results. Then they empower their sales managers, who act as platoon leaders in the Army, turn average salespeople into a high-powered selling machine. Military platoon leaders turn regular folks into highly skilled killing machines. Sales managers or leaders turn regular folks into highly skilled selling machines. Great sales managers are transformative forces who can elevate underperforming teams to 5-star performers, while poor sales managers can quickly destroy even the most resilient teams. We discussed in previous videos the role and complexity of the sales manager job. It is a position that must serve several constituencies ranging from organization goals, customers' needs, and partners' requirements. Additionally, the sales manager must meet the company quota obligations. Team success determines the sales manager's success. A good sales manager manages all aspects of the business by coaching and training his team to focus on revenue generation, while effectively addressing unexpected situations that slow progress and disrupt the workflow. In the Army, the soldiers often enjoy total flexibility while carrying out their missions. The platoon leader usually spends an enormous amount of time designing contingency plans and altering instructions to meet external threats. However, during intense encounter with the enemy, the platoon leader often depends on the team collaboration and creativity to win the battle. Platoon leaders, just like sales managers, work hard by training, coaching, and conducting drills, role plays, preparing soldiers for combat and real-life events. The platoon leader designs drills to simulate real combat situations while holding soldiers accountable for performance. Failure in the military is not an option, as it often means injury or death. A sales manager performs similar drills in the trenches. Called role plays in the classrooms and on one-on-one settings, long-term failure is not an option, as it means no commissions, demotion, or job termination. Intensive training and coaching sessions are intended to ensure team readiness for field combat. The military world and the sales world are complex environments. They are fast-paced and tend to evolve unexpectedly fast. The sales manager must focus on the following tasks to meet performance's objectives. 1. Analyze market trends and opportunities. 2. Meet customers and referral partners' needs. 3. Improve sales strategy. 4. Manage profitability. 5. Maintain a successful culture. 6. Improve the quality and competency of current sales talent. 7. Build excellent bridges with cross-functional teams. 8. Organize, plan, motivate, challenge, and report progress. 9. Stimulate and facilitate learning. 10. Encourage salespeople to perform at a higher level. 11. Recognize and celebrate performance. 12. Recommend great individuals for increases, promotions, and bonuses. The list is undoubtedly extensive, and sales management is a hard business to say the least. All the above activities require focus, time, effort, and energy. Dedicating time to any of these tasks comes at the expense of diverting the sales manager's focus from his most critical revenue-generating tasks, which are meeting sales goals, focus on net new account acquisition, coaching to address the performance gap. The shocking corporate reality. Most sales managers spend their days buried on the following activities that are often necessary but yield no revenue or profits at all. Some of these activities are 1. Responding to a flood of emails from corporate, internal cross-functional teams, HR, finance and partners. 2. Attending meetings that sound important, but most add little or no value at all. 3. Resolving customer issues. Most sales organizations have dysfunctional customer service departments. It's a sad reality in the USA. It takes very little to differentiate your organization from the rest, as many fail miserably to deliver on their promises on time and according to their agreement. A view on corporate NPS score will show you how many large organizations fail their customers. 4. Case prepping and writing to justify moving deals stuck with various cross-functional departments that are often either sales antagonistic or love to play internal power games. 5. Fixing unpredictable escalations before they hit their boss's inbox. At a minimum, they feel they must be aware of everything about their team and customers, no matter how inconsequential it is, hence the constant email checking. Nothing scares a sales manager more than not being aware of any issues that hit the CEO's inbox and are now being down cascaded for a quick resolution with a feedback report to the upper management. Managing a tsunami of eternal chaos. I'm sure you can relate to the above list. It's a dilemma that is crippling corporate productivity. It serves low-performing sales managers well, as they can justify their lack of productivity behind these penalizing, debilitating, time and energy-consuming issues. However, it taxes primarily top sales managers who want to spend time helping their salespeople in the field. Their focus is to increase their team members' net new appointments to drive new sales while maintaining and expanding the existing book of business. All other non-revenue generating tasks reduce productivity and deprive salespeople of the precious sales manager's coaching and feedback during these few joint calls and together time. Managing through chaos. When productivity is below par, senior managers will question line managers on their work ethics. It's common to hear a sales executive ask his manager, "What are you doing to affect productivity?" This simple question gets most sales managers to rumble in terms of describing all the activities they are doing with their team members to affect sales productivity. Senior managers love to put their sales managers on the spot and listen to their struggles, trying to demonstrate the work and tactics they had put in the process to generate the desired performance. Is activity the name of the game? Well, not so fast. Specific, deliberate, targeted activity is what creates the sought-after results. Forced activity creates the pretense of work that yield no meaningful value. Targeted actions, reinforced with evaluative benchmarks, create results and ensure customer satisfaction. You will often hear desperate sales managers on the floor pushing their salespeople to go after every opportunity in the sales funnel without distinction. "We need business, call them all, someone is going to say yes," says one sales manager. If they are not responsive, schedule a drop-by to leave some information and try to set up a meeting while you're there, says another sales manager. Many reputable companies' sales departments are managed through disorganized chaos. Too many highs and lows, too many hits and misses, too many lost opportunities, and too many mistakes repeated over and over. Intense pressure forces reactive behaviors to become the default mode. Remote sales management and dereliction of duty kills promising talent. I met a sales manager who have never spent one field day with his new hires. I understand, vast territories could present a challenge, a large span of control can be a challenge. However, a sales manager who is not willing to spend field time with his team members should not be in sales. I met this salesperson who was struggling in a vast remote territory, which got me concerned. Our conversation went like this. Me, Mike, tell me, how long have you been with the company? Mike, a little more than 2 years now. Me, how do you like it here? Mike, Honestly, I'm doing my best, however, it has been rough. Me, why is that? I understand you don't have a sales manager now, correct? Mike, that's correct. The last sales manager just quit after only 4 months. However, it doesn't matter, because I never get to see any of them anyway. Me, what do you mean? Mike, 2 individuals interviewed me over the phone, and a job offer followed, which I accepted. I went to Chicago for 1 week training. I was lost, but we were told by sales trainers that we will have full support from our sales manager once we get back home. Once back from the training, I heard that my sales manager was recently fired. The vice president of sales called me and assigned a salesperson to assist me remotely. The other salesperson was working in Texas, while I covered New Jersey territory, while the VP was looking for a new sales manager. Then suddenly, the same vice president of sales left the company to join a competitor in the same month of me coming on board. The assigned salesperson was always busy, and honestly, I felt after several outreach calls that he didn't want to be bothered by a new rookie like me. The moment the vice president of sales quit, the salesperson assigned to assist me stopped responding to any of my calls or emails. 4 months later, we had a new sales manager, and he was quickly on my case. He reviewed my numbers and put me immediately into a performance plan without ever understanding my situation or even bothering to listen to my story. He established a 30-minute per week one-on-one session where he was either reprimanding me or telling me that I will be fired if I don't meet my quota quickly. He was a tyrant and he quit within 6 months on the job. In brief, you are the only regional vice president of sales I ever met from my first day of hire, which is 2 years ago. Currently, my performance is among the top 10% in my region, primarily because of my commitment to make it work. I'm a single father with a sick child, and I need health insurance to cover my only child health needs. In addition, I need money to pay my rent and keep a roof over our heads. I have no choice but to make it work. I'm self-taught. I hope you are not going to be fired or quit soon. It gets lonely when you are working so hard in a remote area with little or no support at all. Me, Mike, thanks for your candor. I genuinely appreciate your sharing with me your story. It's sad that a Fortune 500 company must deal with issues like this, rather than striving to be exemplary. Mike, I'm a former enlisted U.S. Marine. I have seen my share of pain and joy. I have learned to retain a sense of pride even in the most challenging circumstances. Everything that I do is for my family. My son has been diagnosed with cancer, he has made tremendous progress, and I promise to do everything possible to make his life better every day. I was floored. How could a sales organization and its sales management team ignore their employees' plea for help? I promised myself that I would make sure that I got to know every employee's challenges, learn from it, and help as much as humanly possible. You would think, how could a Fortune 500 company allow itself to operate in such a dysfunctional way? Several trips around the country tagging these lone wolf salespeople taught me that Mike's situation was often the norm rather than the exception, an unfortunate reality, but not a singular event. Mike's story was sad, but a powerful reality. There are many salespeople out there whose stories are ignored, dismissed or forgotten in the name of corporate profit. Salespeople should never be considered as disposable inanimate objects. They are humans with feelings, emotions, and brains capable of creating unlimited corporate wealth. Caring goes a long way. Top management teams should be equally responsible for their sales managers' proficiency on doing their job. I have witnessed salespeople being terminated for poor performance, even though they were never given any type of training or coaching opportunity to help their sales career development. A sales manager can have 50% to 70% yearly turnover without anyone questioning their management style or guiding principles. Sales managers are not held to the same standards as their salespeople. A vast number of sales managers recourse to micromanaging and bullying rookies and underperformers because they don't know any better. Instead of helping their salespeople, they spend time avoiding tough decisions, shifting blame, failing to listen, stealing credit, hurting information, engaging in unethical behavior, and failing to develop their team because they were never trained on how to manage and lead people. Most managers assume the role and are expected to learn through trial and error and learn by osmosis from struggling peers and disoriented colleagues. The issue with this negligent corporate strategy is that it's not only costly in terms of economics, but it ruins the company corporate brand and business legitimacy. Senior management assume that whatever blunders the sales manager commits, it's the salesperson's job to manage his relationship with his boss to stay employed. Your sales peers will advise you to practice conscious empathy and emotional intelligence to manage working with your crummy sales manager. However, we neglect to take into consideration that the sales manager behavior has the power to act as a productive or distractive force. A well-trained manager can become a positive transformative power that elevates productivity, morale, and people's spirits. A weak sales manager can have a devastating effect on people's morale and productivity. Poor leadership is omnipresent, and it's driven primarily by ego and lack of empathy. John was assigned to head the new sales division in China. He had been happy with his job in the United States, and he was successful at it. He didn't speak Mandarin or Cantonese and made no efforts to learn Chinese or adapt to Chinese customs. His behaviors alienated several significant customers, and he didn't get along well with his new staff members. Additionally, he tried to implement some proven U.S. sales strategies in the Chinese market. John wanted to apply his ideas and did not tolerate any input or challenges from his subordinates. When he missed his corporate goals, he blamed his employees who were disrespectful and did not comply with his instructions. John's division was not meeting deadlines and had cost overruns. To exacerbate the matter further, John needed to deal with several legal regulations, but he was not willing to implement his local legal team advices. Sales heads' stubbornness can be a problem, but it's rare that the boss gets challenged, even when it's a dire situation. It takes 2 to 3 years to figure out that a senior manager dogma, belief, or strategy is the root of the problem. It is much harder to point the finger at the head of sales. Replacing a head of sales is hard. It takes time, energy, and money. Hiring a new leader doesn't guarantee success, and stellar pedigrees and great past performances do not guarantee a home run either. Most hiring decisions have a probability of failures of 50% or higher. Hiring a great head of sales that manages resources and lead people exceptionally well remains a challenge across industries. Commonly, additional time and resources get allocated to the head of sales to turn around their own failed strategies. This is because a speedy termination of the head of sales, even when justified, is not only costly but reflects poorly on senior management, who must go through a lengthy process to find a valid replacement. Identifying and hiring a new sales head is a lengthy and risky process. It's easier to terminate a lower-ranking sales manager than to terminate the head of sales, even in the case of incompetence or negligence. Conclusion 1. A sales manager performs similar drills to what an army platoon leader does in the trenches, classrooms, and on one-on-one settings. Failure is typically not an alternative, as it means financial starvation, demotion, or job termination. 2. The team is only as good as its leader. The sales leader needs to keep himself at peak performance mentally and physically as they serve as a role model and inspirational figure. 3. Specific, deliberate, targeted activity is what creates results. Sales managers often work in chaotic environments. Their job is to lead their team to stay focused on their mission regardless of the nature of obstacles they may face. 4. Senior managers should not expect their sales manager to act as magician. They are often undertrained, ignored, overworked, and harshly treated. The best senior manager use true empathy and listen to remove obstacles to create a necessary harmony that yield to productivity and employee satisfaction at the workplace. 5. Sales managers who care less about their teams or act unprofessionally should be terminated. It's a privilege to lead a team. Hence, one should treat others as they wish to be treated. Poor leadership should not be tolerated at any level across the organization.